Eti Sen is how are you in the Tree Akan language of the Ashanti tribe of Ghana, but also translates into Comment allez-vous in French, Ni hao ma in Mandarin, and Till your turn for those that know. Guests and collaborators are encouraged to take a step back and to check in with self. By checking in with self, you begin to explore how you're truly feeling, be it mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and of course, physically.
Cheers. So, are you ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Salutations, peace and love, manners and respect to all you beautiful beings out there. Welcome to another episode of a podcast called Eti Sen. Now, today's episode, as usual, a special guest, but it's going to be a powerful one. So kick back, tune in. I'm going to introduce our guest. Our guest today is Sophia. Sophia, everyone. So, welcome, Sophia. Welcome to our podcast called Eti Sen. It's been a challenge trying to get her onto the podcast, but she's finally here.
Wow, I am.
Yes, and on top of that, as usual, just to break the ice, I'm going to ask Sophia to tell us 3 things about herself. So it could be fact, fiction, she can embellish it, she can make it up, whatever she wants to do, but we need to know 3 things about yourself. So, Sophia.
My name's Sophia, that's one.
Oh,
Jesus!
how? I already told her. We'll take that.
I'll do that.
Okay.
I have an little girl. I'm a mother.
Okay.
I'm a mother to a 4-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Tanzanian.
Okay.
Not many of us around. I work in finance.
Okay. So yeah, that's a better 3. So Sophia is a mother to a 4-year-old girl and also works in finance, and she's Tanzanian, from Tanzania, East Africa.
Oh, yes, thank you. What do you
Okay.
mean you think it's in Africa?
No, I know where Tanzania is now. So yeah, welcome to the podcast, Sophia. Thank you very much for making time in your schedule and for being a guest and for collaborating with us. As you know, as of a podcast called Eti Sen, the first question we ask is Eti Sen. So Sophia, Eti Sen.
I am good. I am blessed. I am alive.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Given what we're all going through, I feel good. I feel alright.
Okay. It's a blessing, and it's good to know that you're feeling good. A yeah means I am well, I am good. So why do you feel good, Sophia? How has the lockdown and COVID-19 been for you so far? How have you been managing? How have you been coping?
I think for me, I feel good now because things are looking up. Like there's something to look forward to. The announcements that we've had that we're soon going to be let out. Boris has made his decision. Hopefully it goes ahead, but I think I'm more hopeful. So It's making me feel better because I know there's like a light at the end of the tunnel,
Yes.
so to say. But that makes me feel good. But there's been times in this whole lockdown or COVID situation where I have felt pretty low. Or like just being away from everyone, being in quarantine, being locked away. Because I'm quite an outgoing person. I like being outside. I like socializing. So it has been difficult, but I feel good that things are looking up. Deaths are going down. All things are going well. So it's making me, feel hopeful. The sun is coming out.
Yeah.
So it's getting warmer, and the sun always puts a smile on my face. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing. Have you been tested for COVID? Have you had any near misses? Have you had any symptoms?
Have I?
Yeah.
Literally. I never got tested before January. So January, I felt a bit ill. My sister felt ill first. She had a bit of a cold, whatever. Woke up the next morning, had a really bad headache. So she went to get tested.
Yeah.
And it came back positive.
Ooh.
And then me, I'm a hypochondriac. I'm somebody that if I think I've got something, I'm going to get the symptoms. I might not have it, but I will feel it. I myself know I have it, even if the test says I don't have it. So when I thought, okay, if she's got it, I must have it. Yes, I went to get tested. She got tested on a Wednesday. I got tested on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And I wasn't feeling too bad. I can't say I was feeling super bad. But as soon as I got my results back and the results said positive, my God.
Oh.
I now started getting a headache. I couldn't walk. I couldn't breathe.
Started living that COVID positive life, yeah.
Yeah, and for me, it's so mad because I don't know if it's real or not. It's mad to explain to somebody, but I don't know if the fact that I knew I was positive, that I felt like that, or that I was gonna feel like that regardless. So like I couldn't breathe. Like even talking to my sister, I'll be like, yeah, I'm laughing.
Right, the way you're explaining it.
Nah, I thought I was gonna die. Like in my mind. I even said to my manager, I was thinking in my mind, who's got, you know that email they send round to say like so and so has died, like condolences. I'm thinking in my head, who's gonna send that email for me? Like it's so mad. But
you took it all the way to the end of the thing. But it's good to have you here. Looks like you recovered well.
I recovered well. Thank you God. Like it wasn't too long. I'd say like I felt really bad for maybe like 5 days, and then after that it was just like residual like tiredness, and I think the tiredness is what was really bad. Like I couldn't even open my eyes because I was so tired. But now I'm here like laughing, joking, running around, so I'm grateful for that as well. I think that's what's making me feel happy as well, because some people haven't recovered from it, so I'm grateful that for me it wasn't too bad. In saying that, as soon as they come to give me vaccine, I'm going. Yeah,
straight up. Yeah, I'm gonna join the queue.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go.
I hear you.
I can't.
Looks like it's gonna be a requirement if you want to be moving around the world anyway. So yeah, the vaccine has to be something that
because my boyfriend doesn't want to do it, so I don't know how the household is gonna work. But you know,
I can see why he wouldn't want to. But I think if you want to travel, they're gonna make a requirement.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, that's why I'm hearing through the grapevine. It's gonna be mandatory for travel very soon, but I could be wrong. You never know. So,
what about you? You gonna get it?
At the moment, it's probably 80-20. 80%, I'm very likely gonna get it. Yeah. Based on my personal beliefs and exposure to certain types of information, I think I've always been anti-vaccine anyway, but I understand that there is a moment in time where you do need it. I have been vaccinated throughout my life, and when I needed to get vaccines to travel, I always do get them anyway. So when it's a necessity, yes. What I really do not accept and think is absolutely ridiculous is when a new baby is born, within the first couple of weeks of them existing, they are kind of bombarded with too many at once. And I understand they're trying to make it, I don't mind spreading it out over the first 3 to 5 years of their life, but I think all of it at once can lead to a bit too many complications sometimes. But that's just me. So this is one of the few times someone has actually asked me, so thanks for asking, Sophia. It feels good to be asked sometimes. If I'm out here asking questions, I should be able to also provide some answers in it. So we're going to move into the 4 pillars of well-being. Insert soundbite here. So the first pillar we're going to explore with Sophia today is physical wellness and physical well-being. So Sophia, if we were to ask you to do a self-assessment and, ask yourself the question, physically, how am I doing? Excellent, good, okay, not so bad, or poor. What would be your response?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I could do better. Beginning of like physically, I was at my heaviest I've ever been. Like, I was, the heaviest I've ever been, 82 kg. I'm going to put it out there.
That
is literally, I've never been that heavy before. I'm going to put it out there. It's fine. And then,
she just realized it.
In
okay,
June,
it's out there now.
So in June, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I need to do something here. Something is not really quite right. We need to make a change in life. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go jogging. Like, jogging is not something that I do. You've known me for a long time. I don't think you've ever heard of me going outside to do kind of exercise.
Nope.
And when I first started, it was very difficult.
Yeah. That's with most things. Yeah.
It was very difficult. Very difficult. But I got to a stage where I was like running 100 miles a month, which was like, usually I'll go out for like 5, 6, 7, 8 not miles, sorry, kilometers. Don't come and kill me. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
100 miles a month is possible. I wasn't shocked, but I kind of felt you meant kilometers.
There'll be people in your comments and she's lying. So I had to correct that. So I was like doing really well, and I lost 12 kg, which was like amazing for me.
Oh wow, well done.
Thank you so much. And then life slapped me. I stopped working out. And then what usually happens is I'm quite an emotional eater. So physically, if I'm not exercising and if I feel emotional, I'm going to eat. That's what I do. And so as a result of life slapping me, I ate, and then the weight came back on top.
Okay.
So
but not all the 12 kg came back on though, just some of it.
Majority.
Okay. So technically you still lost weight. You just...
Technically, but as we're talking now, I am close to where I started. But I'm working on it. So I've made another pact that obviously Bob said 21st of June we're outside. Yeah. So we need to make sure that when we step outside, we're confident within ourselves. So the plan is to start eating well again and to start jogging. So I've given myself a little challenge to work out 5 times a week.
Okay.
In order to be ready for Boris's release. So
nice.
Yeah. So that's that. So physically, I'm okay. I'm okay, but I can do better, and I am planning to do better.
Oh, see, I appreciate your honesty, and I like that positive mindset. Obviously, Boris has given us a roadmap out of lockdown. So everyone now has a target. 21st of June. It's going to be lockdown everywhere. Proper lockdown. There was no real lockdown on the 21st of June. They don't have no idea. So, well, yeah. It's exactly 3 months.
Whether there's lockdown or there's no lockdown, going outside.
No, I think we'll be okay on the 21st of June. So we have 3 months to... Yes, we have 3 months. Yeah, 3 months to the end of lockdown.
Wait, to go outside and be confident with it.
Yeah. And Sophia, she's mentioned...
It's going to happen.
Yeah, she has a plan, and she is going to make sure when she steps out, she's looking good. And she's obviously feeling good as well. She said she's feeling okay physically. Over. So now that we've explored Sophia's physical wellness and we've done a self-assessment, we're going to move to spiritual wellness and well-being. You know, I always give a disclaimer when I talk about spiritual wellness and well-being and try to explain my position and my understanding when it comes to spirituality and religion, especially because most of us see spirituality and religion as the same, but there are some subtle differences. Nevertheless, whatever your opinion of it, that is yours. I just maintain mine so that when I'm giving a response, you understand my position. But yeah, Sophia, once again, if you were to do a self-assessment and ask yourself, how am I doing spiritually? What would be your response?
I think I'm doing pretty well.
Okay. I'm happy to hear that. So pretty well is good.
To me,
very good.
I'll say I'm doing good but I've always been somebody who I would say spiritual because I've always believed in a higher power. I know that I'm guided by that, and it's something that I'm in tune with my spirituality daily. I wouldn't say I'm religious. I wouldn't say I practice any kind of religion, or that I go to church, or that I read my Bible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I do that, but I know that I have a relationship with God.
Okay.
And relationship is very personal, and it's a daily relationship.
And that's how
it's
it should
something
be.
I run. Yeah. So for me, it's, I don't know, I can't think of a time in my life where I haven't had that relationship, or I haven't felt close to God. And that's very different for different people. For some people, it's if you don't go to church, then how can you say you're close to God? Or if you don't read the Bible, how do you say you're close to God? But for me, it's very much a personal relationship, and it's literally like how I'm Sophia and I have a heart. I can't run away from my heart. I can't take my heart out of my body. I can't. It's not for me to do that. And I feel it's the exact same way I feel about God. It's something that I can't separate myself from, because it's literally in me. So I've never felt that God is not around me, or I've never felt that. That's one thing I can say. Like, even if I'm through the hardest of times, I've never felt alone or abandoned by God, or that I can't reach God, or that I don't want to. It's not something that I've experienced before.
Okay.
And especially during this time, it's like where I've found the most strength. It's like strengthened my relationship. If there's anything to say, I would say it's strengthened it, rather than it's like made me turn away from that.
Okay.
But yeah.
So thank you very much for your honesty and for sharing. As Sophia's always felt a connection to a higher power, and has never felt as if that connection has been lost. And that connection has really come to her support, I guess, throughout lockdown especially, and been re-emphasized that connection even more. She admitted she's not religious in the sense of reading the Bible every day, or going to church, or even believing the books of the Bible. But a question I wanted to ask is, that how you were brought up? Were you brought up as a Christian and then you just found your own way, or you were brought up to just love one another as yourself and then just be kind to people? And
I've brought up Catholic. I've been brought up Catholic, and even till today, like when I'm filling in, the forms that say what are you, I'll tick that I'm Catholic.
Okay.
But I think as I've grown up, my dad is a very strong Catholic. Catholicism is his life. Like there's no Adrian without Catholicism. There's no Catholicism without Adrian. It's not. So for me, I think the more I've grown up, the more I've been, because I've always been somebody who's quite inquisitive. You know me. I'm always asking questions, and if I don't understand something, I'm not going to pretend to understand something. And I think I found that sometimes with religion, Christianity for me is like I wasn't allowed to question. Yeah. And I found that difficult, because there are things that I know that people will tell you, well, you just find out for yourself. You just have to believe it until it's revealed to you. One day somebody will believe for yourself. Yeah. And the more I sought to see things for myself, the more I was to believe that there is God, there is love, there is light. You put on this earth to live with people that are here with you in love and light. And love for me is the biggest thing. And I found that there were aspects of the religion that I was brought up in that kind of I felt, not necessarily true, how I felt, is that it was contradictory to that message of love to me. And I found that very difficult, because for me, that is bottom line, that is it, full stop, love is full stop. So if I find anything contradictory to that, I have to question it. And every time I questioned it, it was, well, you don't understand because, and it's like, hold on, we can't speak, because for me, one of the things, probably I shouldn't say this, but I found difficult is things like referring to God as saying, for example, the wrath of God. I can never understand that, me personally. Because God, the God I know is love. So associating that with wrath, associating that with anger, associating that with punishment, it's very difficult for me to do that. So that's the point I'm at now. It's like, not that I have anything against Christianity, it's just that it doesn't kind of fully align with what I believe what God is to me. And and I think it's a very personal thing. I don't think for some people, a lot of religions, it's right, wrong, yes or no. I don't think it's necessarily the case. You have to know God, but you have to know what God is. And whatever it is to you, that's cool. Like, that works for you. But what it is to me has to work for me. So like Lent, now it's Lent. I'm trying to observe Lent. Like, I have no issue with that.
Yeah.
I have an understanding of God that may be contradictory, that I find Christianity is kind of contradictory to that.
No, I think you raise a lot of valid points. I pretty much share a lot of those opinions as well. But yeah, Christianity is very open to interpretation. Hence the reason why there's several denominations. It's fact. Several different types of the same word of God and different types of Bibles. But yeah, there is a lot of positive that's come out of Christianity. But as you mentioned, there's no denying that the God in the Bible, as it's represented, has actually ordered the slaughter of families, of first male children, has ordered the death of a lot of people. And as you said rightly, the wrath of God as well. So yeah, it is sometimes difficult to come to terms with it. And when you ask questions, the one that I always used to get was, you never understand the ways of God, that's why he's God. Such a lazy answer to give. But anyway, so yeah, thank you once again for sharing. I know most people, based on my experience, keep their spirituality or their religion, or especially their opinions and true feelings, very private and wouldn't necessarily share. But yeah, I've known Sophia for a while now anyway, so this is no news to me. But I'm very happy that she's able to share this to the listening audience and understand that love, unconditional love, as she mentioned, that's the most important thing. Once you have that and you're able to express that, don't worry about nothing else. The rest will all fall in place. So yeah, as we move through this episode, we're now going to get and talk about mental and emotional wellness and well-being. We've already discussed Sophia's physical wellness. We've talked about her spiritual wellness and well-being. And now we're going to dive into mental and emotional. So, as usual, if you were to ask yourself the question and do a self-assessment, how am I feeling mentally and emotionally? What would be your response?
A roller coaster. It's all mad, to be fair.
Okay.
But I think,
It's a roller coaster indeed, man. You can tell already. It's like the words are not even coming out. That's how it's been.
I'm a very emotional person. Very emotional, and not only like, you know, sometimes people say emotional and they mean like crying or whatever. I laugh. Everything I do, every emotion I can feel is very extreme. Like
so very sensitive.
I'm very sensitive. If I laugh, I'm laughing till night comes. If I cry, I'm crying. If I'm angry, I'm like very intensely. And I think that can be a positive, but it can be a negative, because if things don't go well, so if things are going good, obviously your happiness is in extreme form, so you're like super happy.
Yeah.
If things don't go well and you're super emotional, you find that when you're down, you're really down, like very down. So that's my thing. And throughout COVID, I think I've had a lot of ups and downs. Like initially, it was like the whole quarantine thing was pretty difficult for me, because I'm a social person. I like being outside, like I've said. I like social with people. I like a little girl, like going outside with her, doing things together. The fact that we were in the house, I was working from home, I was trying to be a mom, I was trying to be a full-time working person, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, while I'm on a call and somebody's like, it was just a lot. It was overwhelming. Completely overwhelming, and that kind of spiraled, because I think for me it's like when I feel something, I try to bury it. I'll be like, hey, I'm overwhelmed, but you know what, it's gonna go, so it'll pass, and I'll just like, keep going in the hopes that it will pass. Where we've been in lockdown for so long, it didn't pass. Passing. There was no passing. and then it felt like if you jump over one hurdle, something else happened. Like what I shared with you, like personally had an incident, whatever, of like stalking.
Yeah.
That kind of just tipped me over the edge. Like I was struggling anyway, like emotionally and mentally, just coping with the whole COVID situation.
Yeah.
But then I think when that happened, it just kind of broke me, because it's only so much you can pile up on the camel's back before the back just breaks. And I think that's what happened to me. It just, I'm not going to say it broke me, but it
got you to the verge.
To the verge of breaking, to the point where I felt like I couldn't go outside. I couldn't, and for me, going outside, jogging, something that I did to like clear my mental, like to have that time to myself, because I couldn't, being at home obviously with my partner, my little girl, like it's a lot. Sometimes I'm somebody who also needs that time to myself to just think, and jogging gave me that space to just be outside in nature, jogging, listening to my music, to just have that moment. And when that harassment situation, that stalking situation, it completely took that away from me, because I couldn't go outside, and because I can't go outside, I don't have that time to think, to like clear my mind, and because I don't have time to clear my mind, things are piling up, and then now I'm overwhelmed again, and then now I'm breaking down. So it was kind of like a vicious cycle where the one thing that I used to get myself to be clear mentally, I couldn't do anymore. So now it's like, so what do we do? What do we do? And luckily, like I have like Bupa at work, so we get like counselling sessions for free, and counsellors. So I made full use of that, and that really helped me to just have somebody to talk to. Even though I have a really good support system, like I have amazing family, I'm super close to my sisters and my mum and dad, and my partner is supportive. I have amazing friends. But sometimes you just need to speak to somebody who doesn't know you. Who can you with no judgment, talk to you with clear advice, because obviously your family is your family, your friends are your friends. They love you so much to the point where sometimes they will lie to you. Lie to you just so you feel a certain type of way. Or what is that? Maybe you're complaining about something that's affected you regarding your parents, for example, but because they know your parents, they're going to be like, no, but they didn't mean it that way. And you're like, it's not. So it's that kind of like talking to somebody who doesn't know you but has the tools to get you to solve the problem yourself and to really examine what the issue is. Because I think for me, I'm overwhelmed sometimes, I don't even know why. I'll cry, you ask me why you're crying, I don't know. So just even trying to understand what the root cause is of whatever it is that I'm feeling really helped. And I think where I'm at now is just I am learning how to deal with my emotions to be able to just mentally sound. I'm learning to be mentally sound, because it can take it for granted. It's a very thin line between good mental health and ill mental health. It's a very thin line for me personally. So I'm just trying to stay on the right side of that line. And for me, it's an effort that I have to put in. It's not something that comes naturally. It's something that I have to work on, to make an effort to be sound, to be of sound mind, and to keep check. So so even we've like cancelled this. We were supposed to do this a few weeks ago, and I couldn't do it because mentally I just wasn't in a good place. And I think also one thing in knowing when you can do certain things and when you can't. That's something that I'm learning as well, because if this was like a few months ago, I would have been like, let's do it, let's just do it. And then in doing it, I would have probably been bawling on this call. I would have just been completely stressed out. So I think I'm just learning to manage my emotions and to just know that there's good days, there's bad days, and those happen, and you just have to not just move on, not just it will pass, but you have to, as it comes,
acknowledge it.
You have to acknowledge it and try to figure out how best to move forward. If you don't acknowledge it, babes, things will get peak for you. I'm not even trying to. Things will get peak or escalate real quick. You go from 0 to 100. You're sitting down. How did I get here? You'll be crying. People will say, "What's wrong?" You say, "I don't know. It's just I'm crying." Like it's a lot, but they're just trying to get through it and talk to people that don't know you. I can't stress counselling enough, therapy enough. Just talking to somebody who has the tools to guide you and help you to understand what your problem is. Because you can't fix something if you don't know what the issue is.
Exactly. Wow. That was very powerful, Sophia. Thank you very much for sharing. So, with regards to Sophia's emotional and mental well-being, she said it's been a roller coaster. And honestly, that's how it is for most people. There is a very thin line between ill mental health and good mental health, and sometimes it swings and roundabouts. But it's about you being aware of these different swings. It's about you being able to be in tune with your emotions. She said she's very sensitive. Sometimes she'll be crying and she doesn't know why she's crying. Like, I don't know. And that's how it gets sometimes. We're all human. Our emotions does affect our mental state and vice versa. But she's now finding ways of coping and managing. And she's now aware that not every day is going to be a good day. You're going to have a bad day sometimes. But the same way you had a bad day, it can always change again. This has been a privilege.
100%.
I've been trying to get Sophia onto this podcast for a while now, and looks like third time lucky. But before I let Sophia go, I wanted to ask.
Third time lucky.
Yeah, it looks like she's already given some sound advice, a few actually. But I just wanted to know if there was anything in particular she would like to share that she thinks would be beneficial for the listening audience. Any advice, any life lessons or experiences that you think will be beneficial for those that are listening?
I think for me, what I've learned about myself, or just generally this year especially, because we've all been tested, is that you have to know who you are. Yeah, and you have to know who you are, every aspect of who you are, like the good, bad, whatever that is. Because for me, I think I've learned that if you first meet me, but like, she's super outgoing, like she's just out here like a mad person. Like that's just how I am. Like, but I think that was, I don't want to say a facade, but it's not actually who I am. I do that because it kind of stops me from thinking about things, which is why I find lockdown so difficult, because usually my escape is if I'm feeling down, I'll call the girls. Are we going to Shoreditch or not? Are we going to Vaux Park or not? What are we doing tomorrow? And I couldn't do that. I wasn't able to just ignore my issues and just cover them up. And even though it was difficult at first, I found that it's been super helpful because it's taught me about who I actually am. It taught me that all this extrovert stuff that I keep shouting, it's not really that you're an extrovert, it's that you're covering something that you don't want to deal with. So and it's been helpful because now I know that, okay, if I'm feeling like this, I can deal with it this way. I don't have going out or whatever. I know how to deal with things. So just try and take the time to really examine yourself and say, okay, I do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Why do I do that? Why do I do that? Is that really who I am, or have certain things caused me to act in that way? Have certain things caused me to be in that way? And that could be anything. It could be in how you are in your relationships with your partner or your friends, or just generally, like, just take the time to really think about who you are. I don't know if that makes any sense. But
no, it makes a lot of sense.
It could sound like, why don't you know who you are? But you can get lost in the soul. Very And I think for me, motherhood did that. Having a baby and working full time and like trying to build a home and stuff, I kind of forgot who I was as a person. So it's been nice to kind of get in touch with that. And the second thing is therapy and counselling, babes. And you don't have to wait to get a breakdown. Don't wait to be at rock bottom before you go and see somebody. Right now, go and talk to somebody. There doesn't have to be an issue. Like, you can talk to somebody to find out how to be your best self, like your best self, you know. Like please don't wait until you're rock bottom. It's not where you want to be, and you don't have to be. Don't let anybody tell you it's for mad people.
No, not at all.
So just be comfortable, know yourself, and talk to somebody.
Yes.
Preferably professional. If you don't have access to a professional, then I'm sure if you have friends, if you have family, whoever is around you, just talk. And that's it from me.
Oh, thank you very, very much, Sophia. There's nothing else I could ask, Normally I would paraphrase and say something else, but this time I think Sophia has given us sound advice and explained it in a lot more detail.
Something that gives sound advice, so some people will be shocked.
Exactly. So know thyself, know your triggers, know your behaviors and micro behaviors, and make an effort to try and understand yourself better. And then secondly, don't wait until shit hits the fan before you go and get
Hallelujah! That is it. That's what this episode should be called. Don't wait until shit hits the fan, baby girl and baby boy.
Talk to someone, preferably professionally, but if not, anyone that you think is good at listening to you. And then, the rest will fall in place.
Your feelings are valid, whatever they are, whatever the feelings are, they're valid. Okay? Yes. It might not make sense to anybody else, but just know if you feel something, there's a reason why you feel that. And you need to express that feeling and understand why you're feeling that. That is one thing, because people are very quick to tell you, what? Like, why do you feel like that? It's not even that big of a deal. It is. If it is a big deal to you, it's a big deal.
Exactly. So, this has been a podcast called Eti Sen with a very special and powerful guest. Powerful. So Sophia has shared a lot with us, and I'm so pleased that we've been able to do this episode. Until we meet again, until the next episode, look after yourself and always ask yourself the question, how am I doing? Eti Sen.